Let's see if we can get notifications to go out. Hopefully they do. Because I absolutely want to discuss what's going on with USAID. Like, I am itching to talk about this with somebody. So that somebody's going to be y'all. Okay, somebody hit the like button. You back? You back? You're back. Y'all double tap the screen as you come in, and we're going to get back into this list. Hey, Aries Sun. Hey, God's anointed daughter. Thank y'all for coming back. All right, Quiet Storm is back with like number 1. All right. Thank y'all so much. Y'all make sure y'all double tap the screen or hit the 3 dots at the top and give me a thumbs up. And, if I got bubbles, throw them to me because I want my bubbles if I can get them. I need them. Okay. Yeah, we got to talk about this money because this is silly. Y'all hold on. As well have been blocked because anybody who saw me just saw a black screen because some folks have a knack for calling when I'm trying to do stuff. So what can I do? I didn't freeze. It's not y'all. It's me. It's all me. So let me give everybody a chance to get back in. Let me give everyone a chance to get back in. And yep, I'm back. I'm back. So we got to get back into this USAID story. I'm gonna go ahead and start it from the top on this list of wasted money. Because we started it on the last stream, we're gonna go ahead and hit it from here since we're in this stream, okay? And then I want to talk about why it's not being discussed because this should be the topic of conversation. This should be the topic of conversation. There's no way that this should not have been front page news. So we covered the 2 million for sex changes in LGBT activism in Guatemala. Ridiculous. We covered the 6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, which is disgusting. $20 million for a Sesame Street show in Iraq, which is foolishness, utter foolishness. $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. Up to $10 million. Get this. Please listen carefully. Up to $10 million worth of USAID funded meals went to an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group, the Nusra Front. Why are we giving money to a terrorist group for food? Like, why are we feeding terrorists? I mean, we know why. Because we know who funded Al-Qaeda to begin with. But, I'm going to be quiet. $500,000 to a group that empowers women in an attempt to solve sectarian violence in Israel just 10 days before Hamas attacked on October the 7th. Crazy. 25 million, nearly 25 million to, I know I'm probably going to say the name wrong, Deloitte, to promote green transportation in Soviet Georgia. That is none of our business. Ooh, child, listen, $4.67 million. Listen carefully, to Eco Health Alliance. Now, this is one of the key non-governmental organizations funding the bat virus research at Wuhan Institute of Virology in late 2021. Does that ring any bells for anybody? It rung a few for me. $20 million. $20 million for strengthening transparency and accountability through investigative reporting program, which used the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project as its implementing partner. The OCCRP was cited 4 times. Okay, I don't even know what that is. They listed it as wasteful spending. I got to do more research on that. I don't even know what that is. But the list goes on and on. $7.9 million to a project to teach Sri Lankan journalists to avoid binary gendered language. Y'all, this is crazy. Aries Sun said crumb snatchers and then can't explain to me why my electric bill be in the double digits. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Quiet Storm says, but I gotta be unpaid for 6 weeks after having a baby. Another person that will grow up to pay taxes. Now you got it. But explain to me why US taxpayers would need to pay $7.9 million so Sri Lankan journalists won't say he or she, or male or female, or boy or girl. We are men and women. What are you saying? So now we, as Americans, we should spend $7.9 million to train them not to call men men and not to call women women. That makes no sense. But when you see that this is where the money is going, it starts to make more sense as to why we see Democrats like having complete meltdowns. And we're going to talk about that too. Some of these meltdowns and some of the race baiting that's going on that I don't like. Right, Aries Sun, they pocketed our money and now they're trying to play race games so that Black people and people who want to feel like good people will be like, oh no, these are bad people because, we mentioned race. Just because you mentioned my skin being black, I'm not going to forget that you stole all this green money. I was black this morning. I was black yesterday morning. I likely will be black again tomorrow morning, but that has nothing to do with the amount of green money that you are stealing. Nothing at all. So let's get this. 1.1 million to an Armenian LGBT group. Why are we funding all the LGBT groups? How come? 1.2 million to the AME Church Service and Development Agency in DC so they can build a 440-seat auditorium. Last I checked, that's what the church building fund is for. Y'all work that out. Why are US taxpayers paying for this? And let me say this too. That's why they feel emboldened to tell churches what they can and cannot talk about, because some of these churches, they're funding. And it's not lost on me that this is an AME church. You're targeting Black people. You want control over the congregation so that the preachers will not preach the truth. They will not preach the unadulterated, uncut gospel. They're going to sugarcoat God's law in order to placate you so they can keep getting money from you. So they're intentionally misleading the flock for U.S. taxpayer dollars. But I'm going to shut up because there's more and I don't want to miss it. $1.3 million to Arab and Jewish photographers. Why do you need money just because you happen to be Arab or Jewish and you taking pictures? $1.5 million to promote LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. What does Jamaica have to do with America? How? Why are you promoting that in Jamaica? Why are U.S. taxpayers paying for this? Listen to this. $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. The same Cuba that we're not on good terms with. The same Cuba with all the sanctions, all of that. We spent $1.5 million to rebuild Cuban media ecosystem. Is giving you want to have access to promote your own propaganda in Cuba. And you spent $1.5 million to promote your propaganda inside of Cuba. There's more. $1.5 million for art and inclusion of people with disabilities. $2 million to promote LGBT equality through entrepreneurship in developing Latin American countries. What the hell does that have to do with America? See, this is why these people felt emboldened to sneak in or break in to the U.S. southern border, because we are funding these people. Aries Sun says LGBT have heavy funding. heavy funding from U.S. taxpayer dollars. And then, the Democrats just can't figure out why the American public en masse abandoned them. En masse. I feel like at this point, you either got to be slow or you really agree with the stuff they're doing in order to still be supporting these people. 2.1 million. Listen to this. $2.1 million so that the BBC, this is the British Broadcasting Company, UK, so the BBC can strengthen the media ecosystem in Libya. Designed to value the diversity of Libyan society. When I start hearing stuff like diversity, I already know we playing liberal games again. So they put 2.1 million into the BBC so that they can push their agenda inside of Libya. Sick. Brown Style says they do have heavy funding, and that's why if you speak out against them, people get canceled. Oh, yes. But what's funny is the money and the funding they have comes from the American taxpayer, and the problem is the majority of the population is not in agreement. So you got to ask yourself, how is it that the minority of the population controls the finances and the money and the taxes of the majority? Something about that is not right. That is not what democracy is supposed to represent. How did that even happen? None of this seems right. This is crazy. $2.3 million for artisanal and small-scale gold mining in the Amazon. So you're looking for gold in the Amazon so y'all can demolish it, kill all the trees, colonize all those tribes that live down there by themselves minding their business. 2.5 million to promote inclusion in Vietnam. Really? Oh, wow. 3.9 million to an LGBT causes in the West Balkans. Man, get the hell out of here. Quiet Storm says all this foreign aid, but I haven't heard anything about helping the Congo. When you see what they're doing in Africa, it's not to help Congo. They're pushing LGBTQ in Africa. Hey Mo, that's all they're interested in doing. They are not interested in righting any wrongs in those underdeveloped countries where they have worked with corrupt leadership like Ali Bongo. Thank God he's out of power. To siphon off the resources and leave the people hungry. No. Hey, DS. But they're very, very interested and invested in putting money behind LGBTQ agendas in West Africa, Central Africa, and South Africa. Very interested in that. Okay. 3.9 million to LGBTQ causes in the West Balkans. Listen to what they got for Africa. Listen to what they got. Nothing for education, nothing for infrastructure, but they got $5.5 million to push LGBTQ in Uganda. Right. DS, thank you for being number 9. What's up, Hee LEL? I'm so glad y'all in here. $5.5 million to push an LGBTQ agenda in Uganda, where it's actually illegal, according to their laws, but you want to push it there. Allow people to have their own laws. $6 million to advance LGBT in priority countries around the world. When we finish this list, I want us to go back and count how many programs were just dedicated to the LGBTQ. $6 million to transform digital spaces to reflect feminist democratic principles. What the hell does that even mean? $6.3 million, $6.3 million to men who have boink boink with men in South Africa. We need $6.3 million for that. Okay? So if someone's playing in the mud in South Africa, America has $6.3 million for that. $8.3 million for USAID education on equity and inclusion, more inclusion, diversity stuff. So we got money for that. We got 16.8 million to a separate group in Vietnam for inclusion. Oh, this is silly. So let's count all the LGBTQ programs. Mo says this is crazy work. Is it Elon and his family? I mean, Elon is doing his job. I mean, can we talk about that for a minute? Because I mentioned it on the other stream. Elon is doing his job. They hired him to go through the books and see where the money is going. Elon found out where the money is going. So I'm trying to understand why we mad at Elon. And why are we not mad at the people who are stealing our money for this garbage? I'm not mad at Elon for pointing to it. It's like somebody's got to help me recalibrate. Because why are we mad at the person who's pointing at the theft instead of being mad at the thief? Why are we mad with Elon? Like, I understand that is the agenda. That's what's being pushed on social media. Like it's some kind of football team. Like, oh, they're not on our team, so let's all pick and poke. But I need someone to explain to me that if he was hired for a job in a department called the Department of Government Efficiency, and it's his job to comb through the books and see where the money is going and point and yell and say, hey, this money's going where it's not supposed to go. Why do we have a problem with him pointing to it? Why are we not more upset about $16.8 million to a group in Vietnam for inclusion? What the hell does that have to do with us in America? Why are there people in North Carolina who still have not had their homes rebuilt? Why? Y'all know I just left Hawaii, and there are people from Maui that cannot go back to their homes. They're in Kauai. They moved to Oahu. Some of them have been forced to the mainland because they can't even get money to build their houses back. But we spent $16.8 million in Vietnam for inclusion. $8.3 million for USAID education on equity and inclusion. We got $6.3 million for men who boink boink men in South Africa. That money could have gone to California. That money could have gone to Florida. That money could have gone to North Carolina. That money could have gone to Maui. Hell, that money could have gone to a lot of our retired veterans who are sleeping on park benches. But we got $6 million to advance LGBT in priority countries around the world. I got you, Mo, but I just had to point it out. I'm like, what are y'all trying to make us upset about? We supposed to be mad with somebody for pointing to y'all for stealing? The stealing has got to stop. $5.5 million for LGBTQ in Uganda. Uganda made it clear that that was illegal over there. Ain't no LGBTQ in Uganda. Those people said that's illegal in their country, period. But we're spending $5.5 million to push something that is illegal in these people's country. $3.9 million to LGBTQ causes in the West Balkans. Another $2.5 million to Vietnam to promote inclusion. This is what we're doing. $2 million to promote LGBTQ equality through entrepreneurship. So we giving them apparently grants to start businesses in Latin American countries. We got money for all of that, but we ain't got money for nothing going on over here. We have excellent high school students who are graduating, working hard, and they got to go get in a mountain of debt to get a college education, but we got money for all of that. We got money for all of that. Meanwhile, liberals are telling us, as black people, we need to be angry with Elon Musk, and they still have not managed to tell me why I'm supposed to be mad. What am I supposed to be mad about? Because you stealing and got caught. You were stealing and you got caught. When the truth of the matter is, who told you to steal? Who asked you? And let's talk about some of this race baiting that's going on. Because one thing that I despise are people who look like us, but they're preying on us. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I sat there and I watched Al Green from Texas, who had his own sexual harassment scandal, like not even that long ago. And I know a lot of y'all like Jasmine Crockett. I don't. Watched her on the news say stuff that didn't even make any sense. Trying to get black people worked up into a frenzy about DEI. Oh, and we have to work 10 times as hard to get the same position and this and that. And it's like, girl, who are you pimping? Who are you trying to pimp? You are not Jesse Jackson. You're not Al Sharpton. Now, they were some real poverty pimps, but you're not. You're not. You're trying, but you're missing the mark. You're missing the mark. Number one, we're not as ignorant as you think we are. Number two, if you're telling us that we're still working 10 times as hard to get the same position, then how the hell is DEI benefiting us? I'll wait. I'll wait. Because to me, it's not making any sense. It's not making any sense. Whether, I know they like to change the names of things, and right now DEI sounds more trendy. Okay, got it, right? I got it. Sounds more trendy. I guess, we're supposed to call it DEI now. I thought it was affirmative action. It is what it is, right? To my understanding, it was white women who benefited from affirmative action more than anyone. So why are we as black people supposed to be so outraged? Why? I mean, I'm just asking because I can't seem to care. I cannot. She sat there and she went through, we had to work 10 times as hard. She had the accent to get the same positions, and we have to work and do, and all of the double negatives and choppy flat speech, because of course, if you're talking to black people, you have to talk like that because we're not smart enough to understand anything else. And it's all in an effort to get us worked up. What you want us worked up for? Because ain't nothing happened yet. Ain't nothing happened. They're on TV screaming, Project 2025. You can scream that all you want to. All I'm seeing is a bunch of thieves and people doing dishonest things being uncovered. And I don't have a dog in the fight. To be honest, none of us have a dog in the fight. But yet we're expected to be so outraged and so upset because you were caught with your hands in the cookie jar. You all have been stealing. And now you want us to get outraged to help you fight against who is catching you stealing. Why should we help you fight against who caught you stealing? Let's be very clear. Hey, abundance and clarity. When politicians from Israel said that Black America was the biggest threat to their country, Jasmine Crockett didn't say anything. Maxine Waters didn't part her lips. Neither did Al Green. Neither did any of them. Everybody in the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus, they were as quiet as a whore at a revival meeting. We heard not one word from these people. And now that they're being caught with their hands in the cookie jar, we're supposed to get outraged to help you fight the power. You are the power. You're a part of the system. Why should we help you? After all, y'all have never helped us. We owe you absolutely nothing. That's right, abundance and clarity. They were as quiet as church mice. As quiet as church mice. They want us to be worked up about the tariff situation. Hey, it seems very simple to me. To be honest, Mexico, the president of Mexico, Miss Scheinbaum, she did the right thing. She backed right on down. and said, okay, no problem. I'm going to go ahead and send 10,000 troops to your southern border to help you keep the criminals out and the fentanyl. That's what you should have did in the first place. That's what you should have did in the first place. How dare you act like a victim? How dare you act like a victim? Mexico has been complicit with those mongrels breaking in, bringing their crime and their drugs. And I feel like black people should be outraged. Black people should be outraged with Mexico. Instead, we have a large amount of black people who are sitting up crying online daily because they're being brought to book. Their feet are being held to the fire for their misdeeds. When those drugs get into this country, they disproportionately affect the black neighborhoods and black communities in inner cities. Why are you not outraged at that? Why are you upset because they got to pack up and go back where the hell they came from? Why are you upset that if the borders closed, they can't break in and bring more drugs and crime? Why is that upsetting you? Even bigger question, why can't we just simply look at what's going on in Chicago alone with people who look like us, who are telling us and are sitting in town hall meetings expressing their frustration, their annoyance, and their feelings of being overwhelmed with these illegals in their city, making things even worse. Abundance and Clarity says Mexico was happy they didn't have to deal with their criminals. Well, the thing is, they actually were making deals with the criminals. They're being paid off by the criminals. The criminals are lining their pockets. And in exchange for taking money from the criminals, they absolutely turn a blind eye and allow them to raid our borders and then pretend like they're being scalded with hot grease because we say, yeah, we don't want you doing that anymore. I found it very interesting how quick Ms. Shinebaum backed down. She backed down double quick. She was faster than the president of Colombia down there. 10,000 troops. That's right. Put them at the border. Put them at the border. Because enough is enough. They should have already been at the border. They should have already been at the border. And I saw people, again, who look like us online pretending like this was the worst thing in the world. And I'm still not understanding. Do you want drugs in our communities? Do you want the cartels making things even less safe? I saw people who look like us who were even championing somebody like Justin Trudeau, who was a criminal by anybody's definition and an enemy to anything that looks like democracy. Quiet Storm said, when I see someone who looks like me crying about someone getting deported, I comment, what y'all getting from Costco this week? Well, the question then, that's a dang good question, actually, because Costco got it going on. Because they're raising their wages and everything. So shout out to them. But what I find interesting is you look like me, right? So if you break the law, you're going to jail. Why are you online crying because you want someone else to break the law and get away with it? Those same people, anytime something happens to Black America, they're championing, they're cheering, they're making distasteful, insensitive jokes. And you're online crying because you want them to be able to break the law and get away with it. Interesting. But they were cheering for Trudeau, and they're like, oh, yeah, he said he's going to put tariffs. Put them. Install your tariffs, Trudeau. Y'all know I call him Lord Farquaad. Farquaad, put your tariffs in place. Let's see how it goes. What is it, like 91% of your sour crude oil? America buys it. If we stop buying it, who you going to sell it to? Because the truth of the matter is, Trudeau, you know your country does not have the technology or the ability to refine that crude oil. You don't have the capability to transport that crude oil. And while you're selling it to us at a deep discount, it's only because you can't refine it. You can't transport it. And even at the discount, you're making a killing. But if we stop buying it, what on earth are you going to do? And what else do we get from you? Car parts, right? Something tells me, I have a sneaking suspicion, we could make those car parts right here. If we stop giving aid to Canada, I think we'll be just fine. I think the books will balance themselves out. Brown Style said, I call him that too. He needs to worry about why he is constantly being pictured in blackface. Good question. So many good questions. So it's just like I'm looking at the situation. I'm still trying to figure out, honestly, trying to figure out why everyone is so invested in race baiting or trying to race bait Black Americans into being outraged over something that doesn't make sense. What are we supposed to be outraged about? Yeah, Trudeau, that criminal from Canada who resigned. The clown criminal from Canada. Lord Farquaad. But the truth is, it's like, I'm kind of over it. And at this point, I'm gonna be honest. Anybody that I see, whether, I don't care if it's a news personality, whether it's a politician, whether it is a content creator, I don't care who it is. Anybody that I see trying to race bait Black America into being outraged over things that don't make sense, I'm looking at them sideways. Right, Mark, he is still in charge. He's still in charge. I think did they say they're going to have elections in March or something like that to try to, get his replacement or whatever? I hope so. But yeah, he's still in charge and doing stupid stuff. And then from what I read, I believe I read that some of his citizens were going to sue him about what he did to the trucker convoy, freezing their bank accounts and stuff. So a lot of that stuff he's going to have to answer for. It's not just going to go away. Let me pull it up real quick. And then I can tell you exactly what's going on with that. But I found it very, very interesting. Like you got bigger fish to fry. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so that's exactly what's going on. Right, Mark, definitely a goof. So this is what's being said. 20 Canadians are taking Trudeau, Freeland, Mendocino, and others to court for their involvement in the violation of our charter rights and the freezing of Canadian bank accounts. So yeah, they're going to sue. They're going to sue. And I'm glad they are, because right is right and wrong is wrong. I think that these folks have been able to do what they're doing for so long. It's almost like they're in shock that they could be stopped. I don't think they believe they could be stopped. And I think that we're witnessing that first stage of grief, like the whole shock part. They're still in shock. I don't think they've accepted it yet. Or no, not even shock. I think they're in the anger stage. Isn't anger the first step? I think they're in anger. They're still going through the anger of it. So yeah, they're suing. But that's what we're looking at. That is definitely what we are looking at. It was one other thing. Ooh, Fauci. I wanted to talk about that criminal, Dr. Mengele. Let's talk about him. So I heard, y'all know I love Redacted. I love Clayton. Clayton is hilarious, right? So I love their channel. So I was watching their channel and I heard, no, the first step is denial. Okay, Quiet Storm. So we already had denial. I think we made it to anger. Okay. So I was watching Redacted and I heard from Clayton Morris and them over there that the individual states, I think it's like 17 states, attorneys generals, are looking to see which state laws that Fauci violated during the whole pandemic. And they're looking to bring charges against him. So it looks like the pardon that Biden, the mafia boss Biden gave him is not going to save him. If they can find where he violated state laws, he still may be brought up on charges. I was very, very excited to see that because I must admit it was very disheartening to think that he was going to get away with the things that he did with the lives that he took. We just went over the list of things that the USAID paid for. It's already been found out, confirmed that he used the funds from the USAID to funnel money to the lab in Wuhan, China, that actually did the gain of function testing and added the spiked protein to that bat virus so that it would attach to humans. So you funded it and you caused the death of millions of people, and there's no way that man should be able to walk away scot-free. There is no way he should be able to walk away scot-free. So I was very excited to hear that there is a chance that we could see Dr. Mengele, aka Anthony Fauci, end up being at least brought to trial. Am I very optimistic that he'll do prison time? I'm not optimistic. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Anything's possible. Like we've seen some stuff. But I'm not optimistic, but just if even with him being brought to trial, at least it would be on the record that you were at least held accountable in some way for the lives that you took. He needs to pay for what he's done. He needs to pay for what he's done. So I think that's very, very interesting. Also with the pardon, if they bring him before any committees, any congressional committees, if he's forced to testify, we know he cannot plead the fifth because he's already been pardoned. So if he happens to commit perjury, that also too could be a charge. So hopefully something will happen to Anthony Fauci for his large role in all of the lives that he took and the lives that he affected, because some of the people who contracted C-19, some did not die, but their health will never be the same. I'm still not sure on what long COVID is, but I know it's not good. No one can really give a satisfactory explanation for what that is. People have had reproductive issues after the fact that have not been resolved. There are people who ended up with fibroids. There were older people who ended up with strokes and with other neurological damage that could not otherwise be explained, not to mention all the blood clots from those jabs. We can't say the V word. I still don't know what YouTube will like censor us for. But yeah, he needs to be made to pay. Abundance and Clarity said he would, off himself. He probably would. Mark said, yeah, the funerals that people could not do. Meanwhile, Canada was flying in immigrants during lockdown. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And they still do not want to lock their border down now because they want to be able to allow those things to get back and forth into our country freely. And I think that's really just disgusting. Disgusting. Right. Right, Abundance and Clarity. People are still dealing with the side effects of what Fauci did. So I was very excited. I'm happy to report that at least there are some attorney generals who are willing to look into seeing what they can charge him with for any state laws that he may have violated. Remember, they had a hard time embalming people. Oh yeah, I remember. Y'all remember because I posted it in Patreon, and I'm gonna post some of these links on our Patreon as well. Um, the some of the pictures of those huge, strange looking blood clots that the embalmers were pulling out of these bodies. So, they got to pay for that. Mm. They definitely have to pay for that because that's just too much. It's just too much, and it has to stop. But listen, y'all, it's late. But I did want to pop in because I had not been on this channel in a long while. Um, I needed time at the end of December, and I needed time leading up to my birthday. But I am back. I think I'm gonna shampoo this stuff tomorrow, so I will look a lot more decent when y'all see me again. But I'm gonna let y'all get some rest for the rest of the night. I may be in Discord. Um, in and out, but I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. But I enjoyed you guys. Mark, thank you for being here. I hope you subscribe because I like your energy. And for everybody else, if you've not been here before, please subscribe, like this video, share the video. I appreciate you guys. Everybody have a great night. Remember, God loves you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Talk to you later, okay? Bye.